Okay. Okay, we're starting. So, siguro mga 30 minutes lang ito. If it goes over that, we can do another, because you got so many things to say, especially your Philippine Progress, you can basically tell people about it. So, but let's start the
Yes.
beginning, okay? Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm here with Roger Rigor. I've known him probably mga 20 years na yata. I met you in 1990 something doing interpreting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, he lives in Seattle and he does interpreting and he used to be actually a founding member of VST. I just found out recently. So I was kind of surprised that I have a celebrity friend here. But anyway, starting this interview, Roger, can you give us your name, please? First question.
Sure. Yes, Roger Rigor.
Okay. Where
From
were you
Seattle.
born?
I was born in Quezon City.
Oh, wow. I thought so you were actually from Quezon City, not from a province or something?
Yeah, I was born in V Luna Hospital in Quezon City.
Okay. Do you mind telling us your age, if you don't mind?
I was born in 1954, so I'm now 69.
Wow. Okay. You still look good for your age, man. But anyway, can you tell us a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, and a little bit about your family?
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah. I come from a family of 9 siblings.
Yeah.
There were 9 of us. The eldest and the youngest are the only girls, and so
Okay.
there are 7 boys. And my parents were educators, but my father was in the military,
Okay.
retired, and we grew up in our early days. I grew up in a camp. We used to call it Camp McKinley, which is now Port Bonifacio.
Oh, okay.
And before that, we lived in Camp Murphy, which is now Camp Aguinaldo.
Okay.
So Camp Aguinaldo, and then Camp Bonifacio, and my mother is an educator.
Okay.
She taught at the University of the Philippines.
Okay.
Most of us went to school at the UP in Diliman,
Okay.
and I also went to high school. And my most memory of childhood is in San Juan. I was about 6 years old when my father retired from the military. We moved to the town of Little Baguio in San Juan, Rizal. That
The
was
name
when
of
I
the
was
town
about
is Little Baguio? The name of the town is
yes,
Little Baguio?
yes, Little Baguio, San
Until
Juan.
now?
Yes, until now.
I'm gonna write
Yeah.
it down because I never heard of it before.
Yes,
I mean, I've
Little
heard a lot of
Baguio.
Little Baguio. I mean, they use it as a title, saying, that their place is like Little Baguio, but I never heard of a town. They
Yeah,
call
yeah,
themselves Little Baguio. Okay.
yes, Little Baguio in San Juan because of it's a hilly place. It's a hilly town, and it's all of the winding roads. So it's like Little Baguio,
Oh, okay.
literally Little Baguio. It's
Okay, so you went
where
to high school in UP, right? UP Diliman, you
yes,
went to high school and then you went to college there too? Is that where you went to
yes,
college?
yes, yes,
Okay, okay.
yes.
And
From
what,
from
go ahead.
elementary to high school to college. Yes.
Okay, what did you finish in college this year?
I actually finished tourism and the hospitality industry,
Okay,
but I did not pursue that per se.
okay.
What I went to was more into the entertainment sector of the hospitality industry, where my first job was be part of the Foundation for the foundation or Pop Music Foundation is what we called it then. The Popular Music Foundation was the group that put together the Metro Manila Pop Music Festival.
Oh,
And the Pop Music Festival was the one that produced Freddie Aguilar's Anak.
what was your job? What was your job title? I mean, what were you
I
doing
I
basically?
was the Pop Music Foundation right after college. I got into that job because I found I was not too happy about how my professor thought that entertainment was not part of the hotel industry.
Oh,
So
okay.
So I tried to, of course, all they thought that the hotel industry was only because of food and beverage, right?
Yes.
But they never included entertainment. So when I got into the Popular Music Foundation, that was like for me the chance to actually get into the root of what was then the beginning of original Filipino music.
Oh, okay.
So as a project, I was a project coordinator for the festival, which is a festival for composers.
Okay.
It was a festival that was presented at Folk Arts Theater at that time.
Okay. When you say a festival, is it open to the public then? I mean, was it like a
Yeah,
music festival the way it is here in the States, where
yeah,
it's like a
yes.
big
It was
concert, or
actually,
okay,
yes,
where
yes.
different
It was
entertainer comes
actually,
in?
yeah,
Sorry about that.
it was actually a competition of songwriting. It was a songwriting competition.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and that was where Freddie Aguilar was discovered,
Okay.
quote unquote. And you know the but he did not win the grand prize. Surprising, ironically, he did not win it.
Mhm.
The one who won the first festival was Haji Alejandro and Ryan Cayabyab's composition,
Okay.
Kay Ganda ng Ating Musika. But it
Wow.
was Freddie Aguilar who actually literally stormed the international market with his composition Anak.
Anak. Well,
In fact, it's yeah. Hmm?
is that where they first presented those composition in that festival, or they already had it in their belt?
Yes, yes, yes. In No, no, no. The festival was meant to present new songs,
New songs.
new compositions. Yeah, because that was the campaign at that time of the local government headed by Teodoro Valencia at that time. And the kapisanan ng mga broadcasters, they were what is this required to play two original
Original
Filipino
songs.
music, but
Okay.
because there was the number of compositions was very limited,
Mhm.
that's when we initiated the festival so that we can draw out all these composers,
Right.
these all yeah, and so that was the festival. There were 14 finalists at that time, and then everything, as we say, history. The second
Right.
festival, the third, fourth, and all that.
Okay, so my question would be, did Freddie Aguilar play Anak on that festival? Did he play that song,
Yes,
Anak?
yes, yes. In the first festival, that's where Anak was introduced, and
Okay.
then as we all know, the song Anak became an international hit.
Right.
And then in the second festival, he won the grand prize in the second festival, which was a composition written by my brother when he sang the song Bulag Pipi at Bingi.
Wow.
And that was the grand prize winner, and also became the grand prize winner in Seoul, because Seoul, Korea
Mhm.
followed our lead for a festival. So they started also their Seoul Song Festival in Korea. And
Is
that's where
that
Freddie won.
festival still going on until now? Is it still,
I,
or they
I
stopped
think
doing it?
the Metro Pop Festival stopped, but
Okay.
I don't know if the Seoul Song Festival continues to this day.
Okay, because that's amazing. I mean, basically, it encouraged a lot of songwriters. They have
Oh
a
yeah,
venue to showcase their talent.
yes,
You
yes,
know.
yes. In fact, that was the festival was the what is this? The energy that produced the OPM songs of the late 70s.
Okay.
Uh, Now, all these songs, because we already had Manila Sound coming in the mid 70s, but when the festival started to come out, that's when the industry, the music industry, started to just explode.
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember because I left the Philippines when at 1972, and then I
Yes.
visited the first time I visited was 1979, and I remember there was
Yeah.
a song that really stuck in me for a long, long time, which is Florante's Pinay.
Yes, yes,
And did he join that? Was he in that
yes,
festival? Florante?
yes, yes. 1979, we were already at our third song festival, and Florante had his song. He had a song entitled "Kahit Konti." Uh, Kahit Konti, and it was a Gary Granada composition, and all these composers, unknown composers, started to come out. Gary Granada, Benny Saturno, all these Del Rosario, all of
Mm.
them were quite unknown during that time until the Metropop started to, uh, you know, Gary Granada was one of them. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, since that's probably the reason why you got exposed to the music world, right? I mean,
Yes.
all those people, and
Yeah. Yeah.
basically that would move you forward. That's how you got into VST or something like that, or how did that connection
Yeah.
happen from the?
Actually, Mario, the Little Baguio in San Juan was the hotbed of all the combos of the 60s. I
Oh
don't
wow.
know if you're familiar with the combo era of the
Yes, a
60s.
little bit because
Yeah.
that's what they call it before I left the Philippines. I was in high school and they were having combos all over.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes, yes,
that's what they call it anyway. They call it a
yes, yes.
combo. Now you
Not,
mentioned the
not,
word
not a
combo,
bad.
they said, "Where you come from, man?" I said, "Oh, they call it band now." You know, you have a
Yeah,
band. They don't say you have a
now,
combo.
now it's called bands. Before it was the combo,
Yeah.
and and the combos were known to be really good copycats
Uh-huh.
of of the Beatles, of the West, the Western music.
Right.
But because the Little Baguio was the seat of a lot of combos at that time,
Okay.
my brothers were already in a combo. My brother was in a band called the Deltas, and
Okay.
then they became the Ramrods.
Okay.
And also at that time in the late 60s, a lot of bands were being contracted to go to Japan,
Yes.
you know, to be,
Talents, Filipino talents.
yes, yes. If there was any band that was great in Asia, it is the Filipino band
Exactly.
because they're very good in English.
Mm-hmm. And not
No,
only in Japan, it's everywhere now, in Korea,
right,
in Hong
right,
Kong, in Malaysia,
right,
because
right.
we speak English, and they like,
Yes,
yeah. Yeah.
yes, and they sounded like the record.
Yes, yes.
So
So your
with that,
brother was into that, your brothers, or yeah.
my brothers were into combos and bands, and when they came back from Tokyo for a 1 year contract, that's when the recording industry was starting.
Okay.
Nor Tirso Cruz and Orly Ilacad was asking them to play background music for these startup recording studios. At
Okay.
that time, my brothers were already into recording.
Okay.
So when the recording started to pick up in late 70s,
Okay.
uh, disco through the Saturday Night Fever
Starry Night Fever. Okay.
thing, right? So there was this whole wave of bands wanting to do disco.
Right.
So my brothers started to think of maybe we can come up with a sound that's
Mm-hmm.
sort of a mix of the Bee Gees, the Chicago, or Earth, Wind, and Fire. And
Okay.
so not difficult because they were already in the recording studios. So
Mm-hmm.
and Baguio was really our hangout, which is a lot of musicians, a lot of guys who are into music. So that was it. We were just told let's do one, and VST was born.
Wow. So what's the story behind that? Who started it and who?
Well, the one who actually started it was my brother Spanky with the Soto brothers, Tito,
Okay.
and that's why it's VST because it's Vic, Spanky, and Tito.
Okay.
And
And the Soto brothers are very popular even now, in the
yeah,
Philippines. They're like,
my
yeah.
Soto brothers and my brothers were all together in that one recording company called Vicor.
Okay, so are the Soto brothers from Little Baguio too? Are they from
No,
that place? Okay.
yeah, Soto brothers and Joey De Leon, we refer to them as the Paco boys. They're from Paco.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
then the rest of the gang was from San Juan. We were the little Baguio boys.
Okay. So your brother is the one who organized the band. He's the one who thought of the idea. Okay, let's start.
Yeah, it was both a collaboration with him and Tito and Vic.
Okay, so how did they meet? How did they know each other? Are they
They
classmates
were
in school or?
all working in the same recording company.
Oh, okay.
Under that recording company that they started when my brothers came back from Tokyo. Orly, remember Orly? And the Ramrods.
Okay.
Orly, his cousin Vic,
Mhm.
created a recording company called Vicor. It's a combination of their names, Vic Del Rosario and Orly Ilacad. So it's now called Vicor.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
the recording company that produced all these OPM talents from Rico J. Puno, from Ray Valera, Sharon Cuneta, Anthony Costello, Asin, Juan de la Cruz Band, all these recording talents that were a product of the 70s.
So they were like the big recording company in the Philippines then. They were like the biggest. They have
Yes,
all the talents with them.
yes, yes. And the core group that was in that production group were my brothers and the Soto brothers.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, how did you get involved? Did your brother ask you to join or how did that?
Well, no, it was one of those days when he comes back from the recording studio and then asks if there's something that we'd like, listen to, and we just were asked if we wanted to sing along. Yeah, we said, "You
Mhm.
sure?" The recording studio was like a common place for us to hang out in, and
Okay.
so part of the day when they asked us to come and sing,
Okay. Okay. And it just basically
it
formed.
came. And then suddenly it came out on the radio, and that was it.
Okay. So who wrote the most popular song that I know was, like Awitin Mo Isasayaw Ko.
That
Who wrote
was
that?
that was a Vic Soto Joey De Leon composition.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. All right. So that became what your next step was. And then after that, how did you came to the United States? I mean, why
Okay,
did you migrate? How did it happen?
I actually came here to the U.S. Because I wrote a documentary with a popular director. His name is the late Raul Silos,
Okay.
and Raul Silos asked me if I could write a song and write for a documentary for the Ilocanos in. It was meant to be because at that time, the video was just coming out.
Yes.
Betamax and the
VHS.
Betamax thing,
Yeah.
yeah, was
Yeah.
just coming out. So
Okay.
we he came up with the idea that maybe people in Hawaii who are
Okay.
mostly Ilocanos who cannot come home to the Ilocos because they live there.
Yes.
Maybe we can do a docudrama with just filming, Ilocos, talking to people, recording songs that's in Ilocos, and then we'll bring it to them. We'll sell the video to those folks in Hawaii. So I was asked if I would be interested in that. I said that's a great idea.
How
So
did
I
you, okay, how did he come to ask you? I mean, so you must be a writer then. Or
no,
you
no.
know what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah, yeah. It was because he's one of his friends, one of the guys who were working with him was my childhood playmate.
Okay.
We grew up together, and he just happened to come by and said because I was already, I was with the band, the VST, and all that. He said,
Mm,
"You're Ilocano, right?" And I said,
mm,
"Yeah, I'm from Ilocos." He said,
mm.
you can you write a song in Ilocano?" Well, yeah, sure. Why? That's really cool. And
Okay.
so that's when he introduced me to Raul. And
Mm,
then Raul said, "Can you write me a story?" I said, "Yeah, that's sure. Let's talk about it." And then until they asked me to be the writer. So because I was the writer, once the project was done, it was entitled Awawing Tiamyanan, or
Which
Echoes
means
of the North.
Echoes of the
Echoes
North.
of the North.
Okay.
Yes. And
Okay.
so they said that you will have to be the one to go to Hawaii to promote this. And
Mm,
so I said, sure, why not? So
okay.
that's when I went to Hawaii and then promoted the video and the documentary, and then went to California.
What year
Uh,
was that? What year was that?
that was in 1985,
1985.
December.
Okay.
But then at that time, the election was happening here in Manila, was getting very intense.
Okay.
And while I was promoting it in January, the People Power happened.
Yes, 85. I remember that.
86
86.
actually,
Yeah,
January.
86. Okay.
And because of that, the production folks in the Philippines said for me to stay here and wait because it's unpredictable. They don't know what's going on, or they don't know what's going to happen. So I
Mhm.
stayed in Seattle with my aunt who lives in Seattle.
Okay. You
But as
went to
fate
Hawaii
would have it,
first to promote the the
yeah,
project you were doing. Okay. And then after that,
yes,
you went to California, and then you moved to
yes,
Seattle because you have a family here. You have an aunt here in Seattle.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So what
And
year
that
was
was
that?
here where I met.
86?
Yes, and that was in '86, and this is where that's where I met my wife.
Oh, okay. You know what? Actually, I met your wife a long time ago in University of Washington. I'm not sure if that's her, but
Yes,
it's
yes,
like,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
she was a student there. Yes.
yeah. So I think I met her long, long time ago, but I don't know if she, maybe she
Yeah,
doesn't remember me anymore.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
So
yeah,
okay,
so
so
that's where I ended up being here in Seattle, and the rest is, I decided when I was here in Seattle, what's the one thing I can do, because I cannot anymore. Uh,
mm,
I had to stay here. Decided to stay here, so I became a teacher.
okay. And how did that come about? Did you decide that okay, I want to teach, and you got your credentials, or you just applied
Yeah,
and they just
it was alam mo, it just happened. Things happen for some reason. I was asked if I could. I was doing part-time jobs at a hotel. Because that's what I
yeah,
studied.
hospitality. Yeah.
Hospitality. Until somebody came up to me and said, can you be a tutor to Filipino students who don't know how to speak good English? I said,
Okay.
sure. I mean, it could be a part-time tutor. And
Mm,
that's when I realized that my interest to teaching started to come out
okay.
because my parents were teachers,
Oh, yes,
edu-
that's right.
yeah.
That's right.
So and then my lolo was also an educator in the
Okay.
province of Abra. So I decided, maybe I should look into this. And then sure enough, there was an opening. And then the funny thing though is that when I became a teacher,
Mhm.
uh, I was in the bilingual, education. But
Okay.
when I was my first year of teaching, I was rift. I was cut off from the school because of budgeting, right?
Right.
So because I was the newest one, they had
Yeah.
to cut me off. But
Okay.
when I was there at the administrative building, there was a huge board there where they needed teachers. The subject matters where you have, the need for teachers. There were
Okay.
no openings in the bilingual because it was, everybody was working by, but there were all kinds of opening in math.
Oh, okay.
And so I asked some of the principals there, do you need teachers? It looks like there's a lot of need here for teaching math. I said,
Mm.
and then they asked me, can you teach math? I said, what kind of math? I said, oh no, math, algebra. No. Sure, I can teach that. Geometry, yeah, I know all that.
Yeah.
And so that's where I start. One principal said you can start next week,
So,
and then that's when I
yeah.
started to teach math,
Mhm.
and then yeah. Hmm?
What grade level were you teaching? Elementary or high school or?
At first, at first I was teaching middle school.
Okay.
And then and then when I was and then somebody a principal saw me and offered me to teach at an alternative high school,
Okay.
math for struggling students of color.
Right.
So these struggling students of color were students what they call middle college high school.
Right.
So that's when I decided, yeah, this is probably much better for me. Students who are older, who
Yes.
wanted to learn math, and it's
Mhm.
alternative. And students who are struggling, students who are in gangs, students who
Mhm.
are, mothers and all kinds of, problems.
Right.
But I found that to be what I really wanted to do, because now I began to see, teaching has become more meaningful at this point.
Right.
So
It's
as a
actually
math
more
teacher,
rewarding
I
than.
also began
Yeah.
to right. I started to learn about, started to also learn to teach science, because
Mhm.
mathematics is the language of science.
Right.
So I got into climate science, and then that's when I was offered to teach at the university, to start
University of Washington.
of Washington, yes,
Oh,
where
okay.
asked me to start teaching, math and science for a school that was made up of 30 students of color, struggling students of color, but it was in the campus of the University of Washington. And it was a partnership with the Office of Minority Affairs and Diversity.
Mhm.
And it was called the Ida B. Wells School for Social Justice. There were only two teachers of my counterpart teacher taught humanities, and
Mhm.
I taught the math science.
Okay.
And that's where I stayed for the last 20 years of my teaching career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is
I
what
didn't
that
I
was
didn't know this.
my,
I knew you were a teacher, but I didn't realize that you
yeah,
were teaching at
that
University of Washington and you were
yes,
teaching
that's why,
science and.
right. Yeah, that's why, Mario, when you ask why I'm doing this foundation work, the
Mhm.
reason I got into this was, remember that there was that huge typhoon that hit Leyte,
Later,
yung
yeah.
Haiyan, in
Yeah.
2013.
Yes, I remember that.
Yes, it was the strongest typhoon that ever hit land, and that was
Yes.
in the Philippines.
Yes.
And that's when I decided, I can be here in the U.S., but I
Mhm.
know that a lot of people back home are impacted by this. So, so when the foundation approached me, I said, that's not something I cannot relate to.
Mhm.
So that's a no-brainer.
Yes, yes.
Of course, I'm
And
going to give back.
actually, I want
Mhm.
to do a total a whole episode on this foundation that you're doing right now.
Yes, yes,
So we
absolutely.
need to I'm gonna do a part one and part two. The part one basically is about your life and how you
Yes,
came about in Seattle. And part two, I want to
yes,
concentrate on the foundation because I only
absolutely,
got 10
Mario.
minutes and the meeting's gonna end
Yes,
in 10 minutes. So
sure, sure.
yeah, so that's really interesting. I read you gave me the website and I went through that website and I was very, very impressed, with it. I
Y-
mean, it's something that touches a lot of people, I mean, you
Yes,
basically helping the Philippines with so
yes,
many different
yes,
projects. Is that the reason why you're
yes,
in Portland right now? Because I read that it's
yes,
based
yes,
in Portland,
yes.
right?
That's why
The foundation.
I'm actually here now with the Bayanihan Center of Portland. This is the Bayanihan Center, the Portland Bayanihan Filipino American Bayanihan Center, who is partnering with us in a lot of projects that we're doing.
Uh-huh.
And so tomorrow evening is our gala, our 5-year gala, and
Mhm.
we're all in the middle of preparations and making sure everything is in place.
Yes.
And so yes, so tomorrow is our 5th year gala.
Wow.
Yeah.
5 years. So it's doing good. And
Yes,
basically, a foundation, you rely on people's donation. You go out and get.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, Mario, and that is why I'm very happy to actually engage you in this kind of,
Yes.
medium, because it will actually, that's the point, is to let people know that we exist,
Yeah.
that we
This is another
actually,
outreach. This is another
yes,
yes.
yes,
So, because I
yes,
do have a YouTube channel, and it's basically
yes,
it's called Mario's Filipino channel.
that's
And
great,
and it
Mario.
most of the people that view me is Filipino, or
Yes, yes,
involved with Filipinos,
yes, yes.
and because of
Because
this,
yes,
they would know about this foundation, because I didn't even know about it until that,
yes,
you told me about it.
yes, and that's why, and of course, the urgency here is that things are not going to get any better for our Filipino folks. It's
Yes,
going to get worse because of
yes,
climate change.
yes,
That's my background. That's what I thought.
yes, yes,
And I know the whole science behind climate change,
right.
and the future is not going to be very bright. In fact, to this day, as we speak, people are experiencing very hot summer now,
Mm-hmm.
or rain that comes with heavy rains, because and it becomes flooded,
Yes,
and all the erosion that's going on. It's really going to be tough for a lot of our
yes,
most
and
marginalized Filipinos who live especially those who live in remote areas.
mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Can you imagine the
Mhm.
Philippines? We're really like a lot of poor people, and then every year there's a typhoon. I mean, it makes their
Yes,
life even harder. I mean,
yeah,
they're like
yes,
handicapped.
yes,
I mean,
yes,
they can't
yes,
move
yes,
forward with all those problems.
yes,
So
yes, and you
we're
know
like a
that, Mario,
lifeline
because
to a lot of people,
be- be-
basically.
but also, Mario, however, because you live in the Philippines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, you know that our country is a rich country. We
Yes,
have a lot of very rich natural resources, but
yes.
what is very confounding, what is
Mm-hmm.
really difficult to take in, is that in spite of the rich natural resources that we have, our people are still poor.
Yes, yes.
Now, why is that?
Yeah, you can
So
see the
yeah, but at the same time, we cannot just sit back and be political about it, right? We
yes.
have to act, we have to
Mm-hmm.
do our part, because
Mm-hmm.
people, as we speak, are actually dying.
Yes, you're
you know
exactly right. So
so that's
I'm
my
really
calling.
happy. Yeah. I didn't even know that you were
Yeah,
doing this. I'm glad that I called you because I
well,
found out about it. So
yes,
our we're gonna end soon, like in a minute. So maybe on Tuesday
okay,
when you come back, we'll do a second part, and then we can talk more about what you're doing basically right now, because I want people to know about it. I want to spread it out. So you guys can
thank
get more
you. you
support
are
and
you are you are going yes, you are going to be the bearer of news.
yes, good news anyway.
Yes, you have a role. You will have a role here,
Yes.
Mario, and I'm
Yeah, I'll
really
help as much as I can. If
thank you.
if if this is helping, then I'll help. By spreading it out.
Absolutely. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yes, thank
Okay,
you,
then
Mario.
maraming
Yes,
maraming salamat, Roger.
more
I'll call
power
you on
to you.
Tuesday,
More
okay? And
power
then
to you.
we'll do a second part, and then we'll concentrate
Yes,
on what you're doing right now. How's that?
of course. Thank you, Mario.
Maraming
Good day.
salamat. Thank you. All right.
Maraming salamat
All
to
right.
everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye.